gallon of gas is down 14%. So I want to make sure they go fast. Yeah. And I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. So
with this president, this Joe Biden, this president with justice, environmental justice, economic justice, so much has been accomplished.
That I want to know what specifically the administration has done, they've been working on, that has worked to bring down inflation.
Well, I would say first, because well, we don't have the data at this point yet, but as we're looking ahead, we certainly assess that that we expect to see a high headline headline inflation in tomorrow's February inflation data. A key reason, as you touched on, are energy prices. We've seen the price of gas increase, as I noted, 75 cents since the beginning of the year as Putin built up his military near. So that's what our prediction or our assessment is at this point in time. In terms of steps we have taken to address inflation. What has worked? So October 13th is when you announced the port initiative. Yeah. What specifically can you point to that has worked to bring down inflation? Well, there are a number of steps we've taken. If you compare month to month, we've seen inflationary pressure or inflationary numbers go down month to month, even as we looked at the year-to-year numbers go up, which we entirely predicted.
So anybody who's looking at the month-over-month and the year-over-year making comments that, well, the rate of change is slowing down, these numbers are coming down, not accurate. Now let's go over the year.
Why did you guys decide to rebrand the rise in gas prices as the hashtag Putin PriceHike?
I mean, if you want to use that on Fox, I welcome that. But
I think it'll get a lot of airtime because we have heard the president warn for months the gas prices were rising because of the supply chain. If you guys knew for months that this was going to be the hashtag Putin PriceHike, why are we just hearing that now?
Well, Peter, if we go back to 6 months ago, I don't think anybody was predicting we would be exactly and an increase in oil and prices. Hence, you have a Putin gas price pump. Okay,
you and the president are both talking. Thank you. You and the president are both talking about.
Spit that out.
You and the president are both talking about producing energy here, saying that oil and gas companies have 9,000 permits to drill now. They could be drilling right now. Would President Biden cut red tape to make that possible?
What red tape needs to be cut? When they have the permits, they have the capacity to do it. What's holding them up?
Does President Biden think that each of these 9,000 leases that are available have oil or gas in them? Because industry experts are saying that that accusation is a complete red herring. Some permits are viable and some are not. And that when you say that, this represents a fundamental misunderstanding as to how this process works.
So there are 9,000 unused approved permits to drill in. That should not require us inviting them to do that. They should do that themselves.
They can't get the additional permits. So would the president?
What additional permits do they need? They have the leases are there, the permits are there. I don't think they need an embroidered invitation to drill. They are oil companies. What is happening? The permits have been granted, Peter. What is
that accusation is a complete red herring, and it's really a distraction from the fact that this administration has paused leasing on federal lands.
This represents a fundamental misunderstanding as to how this process works. So the White House certainly doesn't have their facts straight on this.
Yeah, it's not truthful, right? And it's not truthful at all. She knows that, right? It's delaying leases. Look, you can get a lease and then they delay the permits. In Alaska, they delay the ability to get a permit for an ice road. We tried to kill pipelines. Day one, you saw Biden said he wasn't going to produce. Have people like John Kerry and Gina McCarthy going around to the American financial community saying, don't invest in American energy. So day one, they have been focused on killing the production of American energy.
We know, we have got to still reckon with the impact of climate change. That clean energy transition is not just coming, it is here.
Okay, and then just a quick yes or no, because there's a lot of gray area here. Is a restart of the Keystone XL construction completely off the table as long as Joe Biden is president?
Well, why don't you tell me what that would help address?
I'm asking you if it is an option. You guys say all options are on the table. Is restarting Keystone construction one of them?
If we're trying to bring about more supply, that does not address any problem.
It's supplied from Canada, a friendly ally, instead of Saudi Arabia
That's already,
or Iran.
we're already getting that oil, Peter. It's the pipeline is just a delivery mechanism. It is not an oil field. So it does not provide more supply into the system. It does not address.
Is it possible that Joe Biden will ever say, you
There's-
guys can go ahead with construction of Keystone XL?
There's no plans for that, and it would not address any of the problems we're having currently. Go ahead.
The president said yesterday, I'm going to do everything I can to minimize Putin's price hike here at home. And then hours later, as he was getting off Air Force One, he said, I can't do much about that right now. Can't do much right now, was the exact words from the president. For anyone that might have been confused seeing the two statements from the president within a couple of hours, what would be your explanation? Does the president believe there is action that he can take to address gas prices, or does he believe there's not much that can be done?
Well, I would say that the short gaggles when the president is getting off the plane and getting into a car are not always super comprehensive, as I think many of you have experienced. They're not always extensive, but what the president said yesterday in his lengthy remarks before his trip, and what we have said many times, is that there are a range of steps that we will continue to take.
We're gonna go up. Can't do much right now. Russia's responsible.
Range of options, but we've already taken a number of steps, and we will continue to. And he said that all yesterday morning in the same day. Go ahead. Okay, I got it. Just maybe you have to be the.
Talked about gas prices. The way to speed up the lowering of gas prices is speed up the transition to those clean energy. Gas prices have risen month over month, every month since the president's been in office. So is the feeling then from the president that the American people just have to wait till 2030 when the president has set his goal for zero emissions, or if half cars being sold with zero emissions?
No. That's never been our theory. Or there are also, as we've talked about a few times in here, 9,000 unused oil leases that oil companies could certainly tap into, and we've encouraged them to do that. So that's certainly a way to address.
But the price of gas on February 14th was at a highest level since 2014. So it was already at an elevated level. I want to ask you.
And the buildup of troops was even before that. Get more people's questions answered. We are always happy to answer questions from here. I could go on for hours. Just sit in your seats. But we also know you all have a lot on your plates. So what we try to do, for everybody's knowledge, is balance between all the things reporters and all of you have focused on and trying to be informative in this briefing room. But we also are here